Hello, this particular video will help us with using our textbook, our highlighter, our speaker, and all this kind of thing for learning in the classroom while you are learning from home as an online student. First and foremost, you should obviously go to your class section and you want to go to course content. From course content, don't forget that your course schedule of what's due, like this week is week 2, and you have several modules to read, and there's some training sessions, and I want to kind of show you a little bit about the training sessions. Also, the first exam will be ready Friday day, September 4th through Tuesday, September the 8th, Tuesday night. So you have that you can look at while we're here. But we're going to go into, I'm going to use the Getting Started Resources Look Here First stuff that you've been working with. And I'm going to go down to the Getting Started With folder, and I'm just going to click on one of these. It doesn't really matter which one I use. I want to launch it. I just want to demonstrate how you can use some of the features of MindTap. And it has to load, and it's been kind of slow. Alright, here we come. I always kind of reduce this screen over here so I don't see all that information there that we really don't use. And you can see that we have several sections here that we can go to. We can navigate with the arrow for the next page when it pays attention, and we can always go back to a previous page. And it says Introduction to SAM, and sometimes you'll have these little inserts here, and it says bottom line, SAM is an online platform designed to help students learn with Microsoft Office and understand other technology topics. Okay, so let's say I want to highlight something. So I highlight down through here. A highlight text box will show up, and you have 4 colors that you can choose from, and it's going to highlight it. Well, let's say that you want to highlight that same area and you want to put a note about that. So you can add a note. It's going to pop up with a little note box, and you're going to type in, whatever note you want to go that should go here. We will be using SAM, Skills Assessment Manager, for almost all of our assignments, trainings, and it would be projects as well, and exams. Okay, and then we'll click on Save. So now you have this little post-it note over here to the sides, what it looks like anyway. I love that 3-dimensional shadow. But if you click on it, it'll bring it back up. You could delete your note, or you could edit it. So you could click on Edit. You could change some of the wording that you have here. Or you might just add something else, another little paragraph that says, there is only going to be a very few assignments that are completed solely in Blackboard, and we use Blackboard abbreviation capital B, lowercase b. And then I can save my note again, and then I'm done making the changes, so I click on it. Now we've got this first one here. We would scroll down, and let's say we're going to scroll to the next page. Now I don't normally have you use either of these views because we have you go to links in Blackboard, and I'll try to demonstrate that in a moment. I do not like the activity calendar because I have 5 sections of this class, and it just gets overly full and I can't read it. And students want to try to use that, and then they get lost, and sometimes things don't post correctly in this calendar. So we try to keep you out of that by just giving you the links you need while you're in Blackboard that will jump you to the topic or the assignment that we're working on. So you take a look at that, and I'm going to skip on to the next page. And you'll notice that there is some highlighting that's already done on this page. From the teacher standpoint of view, what I can do is I can highlight something in orange and it will show up in your book. I will try to go through and get rid of those things in the teacher view so that you don't have all the stuff highlighted here. The training, you have usually four steps to go through. Sometimes you don't have a guide. Okay, sometimes you do. Usually the guide would show up somewhere that tells you about a scenario you're trying to complete or something like that. You might see that with a critical thinking challenge type of assignment, or yeah, probably maybe something that's doing tasks, and you have a little pop-up guide that tells you what's supposed to transpire while you're doing this particular project. Then you can do an observation, so it just shows you and walks you through it. You can practice it, you know, and it'll point at what you're supposed to do next and so forth, so you can do a practice. The part that actually, in a training, that actually is graded is when you apply the skill. So you've got to make sure that you hit the apply, you know, get to the apply part. And if you were to look at this sample and go, I know how to do this, maybe you just observed it and you go, I don't have to practice it. You could jump straight to the apply portion, and then you can, let's see if they've got it up here. Yeah, the apply portion button, and just go ahead and do it, and you won't have to sit through, you know, being demonstrated to you, you practicing it first and so forth. If you feel like you know it, you know, let's go ahead and jump to apply. If you miss it, you can always go back and tell it to show it to you again, or let you practice it. Okay. Let's see here. We don't do any of this kind of thing with a SAM path. Completing SAM projects. Let's just say we're going to highlight this. And we're going to make it pink. It's not easy being pink, but we're going to be pink. And we're going to bookmark this page. It happens to be the last page of this little module. So let's go back and let's bookmark. I think it is the introduction to SAM. So we'll put a bookmark there. Okay? Now, over here are some tools. You have a tool that has My Notes, got a highlighter and stuff. The only thing with that is it's going to take you to a screen where you create an Evernote account. And it's supposed to be free, and it's supposed to be something that you can do and use. And they do have a little message for iPad or Apple users about how to get there in Safari. I don't have students do this. You know, some students like to have that outside resource, but I don't have you guys do that. So what I can do is I can just go on to the next topic. So a RSS feed, really simple syndication, and it'll show some of the current topics. Some of them have to do with health, you know, and you can see some of the, obviously some of the things that deal with business, but also it has things like, you know, they're talking about digital security and those kinds of computer related topics in there. You can also look at for more available feeds. Let's go to the next one. That's the glossary. And it is alphabetized, so you could jump to whichever letter you wanted to jump to. None of us want to be a zombie, and we sure don't want our computers to be zombies. The one below that is starting your school or career portfolio. And it takes a moment for it to load. Sometimes I just go ahead and click on it. It may work or not work. And looks like it's going to be not working today. So we'll skip that. The full book, I don't know why they do this. Because, you know, you've got your book cover and you're going, and it just shows you this, you know, the people in the book. Oh, I see I got a message here about protection. I switched to Firefox so I could load myself in as a student. And I am not. Okay. Let me check this really quick. Oh, we need to be followed, so we don't want to block it. Well, hopefully we won't have to worry about that. I'm not going to worry about it right now, right in the middle of my video. But you can see that to see the rest of the book, you have to go to the table of contents, and like you just click on one of these, and why would you do this? Because when you highlight something in here, it's not going to let you highlight. So you're better off being in your real ebook in MindTap. So I just don't like the book. Study Hub is where you're going to see where you put bookmarks and notes and highlights. I don't have any study guide created within Cengage or within MindTap, but you could create something for yourself as well and just put in the things that you think are important for the next test or the first test, whatever. Click on Notes and Highlights, and you're going to see I have a whole bunch left over from a previous class, but let's say in Getting Started, remember I put a note there we will be using, and I put it all in there, and there's the note. And Displaying the Sound, this was what the teacher said when I was in Teacher View. Now, you'll notice you can't get rid of a Teacher View, but you can get rid of one that you created. So if you wanted to delete that note, you can just delete it from here, and it will no longer show up on that page. If you wanted to go straight to where that page is, let me navigate here to a different page. Okay. If you wanted to jump back to that page where this is located, that little blue arrow will take you back to where that is. And then, as I've mentioned before, if you decide you want to delete it, you can. And when you say OK, it's gone. If you look at your bookmarks, you can see that I have 2 bookmarks here. I want to jump to the last one. Well, I think that's the last one. Yeah. Or I want to jump to the first one. Now, I did them in order. I did this one first and this one, last. But because in the book, it's the opposite. The introduction to SAM comes before the completing SAM projects. That's why it's reordered them for you. And again, you can delete any of the bookmarks that you want. This is handy for prepping yourself for your first exam because it is open book, just not open neighbor. And you could open your notes too if you have any notes. But I wanted you to see this. Now, I don't know how this is going to work with the read speaker. And we'll try it. I don't know if it'll come across to you guys or not. I've noticed that the male United States is actually a female voice. They've got something mixed up there. And they don't have the British voices anymore, and I wish they did. But I'm just going to go ahead and switch to female United States. And I'm going to drive us all crazy by telling her to talk very fast. And then the reader's up here.
Introduction to SAM. Bottom line. SAM is an online platform designed to help students learn to use
She's not going very fast. Okay, let's try the Australian male, and let's see if he will talk a little faster.
Microsoft Office and understand other technology topics.
Okay, I think because of the pop-ups that are protections, it's not allowing me. Let me turn it off. I think because of the pop-ups and stuff that I haven't set up in Firefox, it's not allowing me to switch the things that I wanted to. But you can play around with this. I think you're going to find out that you want to go medium, and you'll probably want to go with the female voice in the United States. Okay? And then we can look at, let's see, we don't bongo, your OneDrive, and your Microsoft OneDrive that you have here. We don't put anything in here. I think you could put things in here for yourself, but usually this might be something that I put something out there for you and you can have access to it. But I'm going to put it in Blackboard. Okay? I'm trying to keep everything as, consistent as possible. Now, the Google Drive is also there. If you use Google Drive, then you might have files that you can upload to your Google Drive. Flashcards. Now, they have it set up where they give you the term, and then you can see the terms. You can go back to your previous card. You flip it by just clicking on it, and you see what the definition is. Now, if you want it to be more like Jeopardy, click on the little settings button and choose definition to show first. And then it's kind of like, what is MindTap, Alex? And you switch it over, and there it is. You can also add your own cards. Just make sure you're accurate with your description and your term that you're using. You can shuffle your deck. And you can also, back up to settings, you could print your current deck. Now, I'm not sure how it prints, if it prints one per page, which is wasteful, or if it'll put several on a page at a time. But you can print the deck. So we're going to get out of that one, and then progress. Now, I don't think I have anything done in here for me to have any progress. Yeah, I really haven't been in here very much. Boy, I need to get my homework assignments done, don't I? At any rate, what it will do here is it'll show what grade you got, and the G always lets you know it's a graded assignment, counts toward grade. And it will show you how you're doing here, but the grade that's an average here is a simple average, and it is not the weighted average in Blackboard. That's where your real score is, weighted average, because some of the things we do are only in Blackboard, they're not in here. So those wouldn't get counted in here like we would want them to. But it is nice to come into your progress and see how you're doing with your assignments, and you can see, you know, how successful you were. And I'll just point out to you, when we get down here to some of the word projects and things that we're doing, the textbook project, you'll know, is only for practice. But the SAM training will be graded, and for Word Module 2, and then the Word Module, the project that you're going to do, is also graded. You can do this one 3 different times, so you might have 3 different grades there, and it will record the highest grade. So that's it with the tools that you have in MindTap. So we will close this out, and we'll start another video for you.